What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Brendan and I'm BMax45, and today we're coming at you with another video. We have our market analysis for the Digimon TCG. Like we do every Friday, we're here to bring you those card market prices. We're here to look at things like the new set BT22, how is it faring? We're here to look at the meta and what changes are happening, what's cooling off, what's spiking up in prices, and what hype is coming from potential new things like EX10 or BT23 down the road. And we're just going to look at a whole bunch of different things. Of course, we are going to look at the week one prices for BT22. We usually always do that. We do BT, the pre-release, then the release prices, which we did the last 2 weeks. So this will be our last kind of overview of the set as a whole, and kind of show you where things have kind of, settled with that. And we're going to, discuss whether we think buying a box is worthwhile or if it's just better to get singles here. And we're also going to talk about a bunch of other cards. Like I said, what things are getting hyped, what things are cooling off. We're going to look into that as well. We're not going to have a market analysis next Friday. We'll be on vacation, but don't you worry. We have plenty of content scheduled and lined up to come out for you guys. And we'll probably do the market analysis next week when we get back on, we get back Saturdays. We'll probably do it on Sunday. But don't worry. We're going to get into this card, this market analysis. We're going to look at these card prices and tell you what we think. And hey, if you enjoy this type of content, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss a single minute of the fun. All right, without further ado, let's get into it here. Cyber Eden, BT22, where are we landing with this? $71, $72 a box. Case is 908. That's not too bad. Getting into our low pull rates, you got Nokia leading the charge as the primary waifu card of the set, $400, $300 to $400. Amy Iba as a close second with about $280 to $350. And then we have cards like Arata and Kyoko, which are down, $150 to $200. Yuko has jumped up in price. It's only $170 market, but $300 selling listings. And a lot of this we think is due to the fact that it is Greymon support, and there's going to be, new Black War Greymon stuff in EX10. So we think that, the Digimon card game is sometimes the Greymon trading card game. It's an old joke, but it is true. And we could be seeing those prices due to that because it is good Greymon support. And then there's the unwanted sibling, Yugo Kamishiro, just, $100, $140, just the lowest of the low pull rates. And yeah, that's it for the specialty cards. Getting into the regular alternate arts, Omnimon has jumped up from $30, $32. Now he's at $50, $59. So there's definitely some hype for the Nokia deck. You can see it here. Nokia Shiramine, $45 market price, $99 for the listings. And this was, it was $55 when I looked at this a couple hours ago. And obviously they got bought out, and now we're left with that's it. That's the listings. So $100 for Nokia. It was like $38 to $40 at release. So it's definitely shot up here. Mirai Mikagura keeping, that $40 to $42 range. That's kind of hasn't changed. It's been pretty steady. I find Mirais are like that. If you look at them, the history of them, they're pretty steady when they come out. They'll fluctuate when we get new support releases, but generally they will stay kind of at the same rate once they do hit, and once people have decided, is this going to do anything for the format or not. Sayo has kind of maintained a kind of, balance between that $35 to $40. So again, still, and same with Kyoko as well. Kyoko alternate art, $39 market price, a little bit less. It's dropped a little bit, but still like in that $35 to $40 range, you can probably get a price for it. So still, both cards great to pull as secret alt arts, but also not the worst for actually buying. If you wanted to buy a play set of these, not the worst really. Rena's been doing some interesting stuff at release. It kind of jumped up. It was around that $25, $25, $28 range. It actually jumped up. Market price was around $38. Listings were around $35. It's actually, the listings have cooled off, but we see that the market price is still up there around $34. So watch out for Rena. Could go up again. Alphamon's cooled off a little bit. That $30 to $32 range is now down to $28. Dynamon's actually a shot up $10 from where it was sitting at release, which was about $20. And again, we talked about Yuko, so it's it's up here. It was around $18, $20. Now it's jumped up $25, $28. That Greymon potential hype. That's what I think we're seeing there. All Force is staying pretty much the same at 20 to 25. And Amy Iba has dropped a little bit here. She was around 25, 28, and now kind of just under 20 bucks, with market price around 23, 24. Arata is pretty much staying the same. He's not moving too much. He's not a waifu card. He's not a waifu card. Then we have our Liberator cards like Nabutmon and Arimon are dropping in price actually quite a bit, with our regular secrets being really low, 11 to 10 to 15 bucks on both of them. We did pull a bunch of Kyokos from our boxes, and at the time they were around $40, so that was actually really good at release. Now it's not so good, but other than that, we did pull pretty well from our boxes because we did pull a lot of good alts. I think one of the only bad alts we pulled was Ranosmon, which at the time was $10. He's now a lot less. He's $3 right now. But other than that, a lot of our alts had some pretty good value. We pulled lots of Mirais too. Alt Mirais, Alt Kyokos, and Sayos, so that was good. This is all the rest of our alts are under $10. You see these ones right here, and then you see the Yuko is the best super right now at $7-8, and kind of at the same rate as some of these alts. You also see like everything else like under $5. Nokia and Arata being the next best supers, and then everything else is kind of under $5. Best box topper is the familiar token, so that's kind of funny as well. But so that makes a lot of these supers and box toppers super cheap, so that makes buying singles worth it. But if you're looking for some of these cool alts, I would definitely say that the alts are worth buying too. I would say buying a box, if you can get it for $75 is worth it, because you do have a lot of value in a lot of these cards, and you will pull a bunch of supers that you can either sell or add to your collection, and then the alts will kind of cover the rest of the potential. There is the potential for loss, you hit something like this or you hit some of the other alts, but there is a lot of good alts in this set too. So kind of 50-50 works out pretty good. It's good to buy singles, but it can also be good to buy boxes still. So I would say BT22, pretty decent set, still decent to buy. So you can give it like an 8 out of 10 or whatever you want to say here. But that's it for BT22. We'll focus in on certain cards as they change in the meta. But really, from here on in, that's our kind of overview of BT22 from pre-release to release to week 1. Getting into some other cards, we have a Pokemon. We're looking at EX10 hype. We got a new Pokemon announced, and this card could see, we start to see down here, it's starting to curve up here. We could see a price increase on this guy because, if we were playing a new Dark Masters deck with a new Pokemon, we're going to see, you're going to play the new Pokemon, but you're probably going to play one of this guy because he's like a really good win more card, and he was limited for a reason. So I definitely think, you could see a price increase on this guy coming up real soon. Also, Black War Gray X Antibody always seems to go up whenever we get new Black War Greymon support, and we are getting a new Black War Greymon Ace card in the next set. So we're seeing here it's about $17 right now. Last most recent sale, it has been trending upwards, but still not a bad price. So if you're interested in playing a Black War Greymon deck and you think you want to play the X Antibody, I would say right now is a good time to pick that up before it goes over $20. Lunamon Galaxy is still a really great deck, and now with the new Galaxy support, you don't have to play Galaxy Toolbox, which I think a lot of people didn't like. They'd rather play like Pure Galaxy. Pure Galaxy is better now because of the new Galaxy support, so that's really, really cool as well. So we're seeing that, and Lunamon has always been an expensive card for the deck. We're seeing most recent sale 20. Could go up a little bit more, especially if the new Galaxy is a little bit more competitive as well. So I think you're seeing that reflected in the sale trend right there, what people want with this deck. Omnimon binder prices. Omnimon support is nuts. We talked about Nokia. We talked about the new Omni. We just talked about DNA in general, and looking at it here, you got a pretty good value here. $180 for the binder. You get 2 of each of these cards in here. You got $50 there. You got 40 there. I know that the Omnimon and the War Gray and the Gabumon are trending up, whereas the Malgarumon is staying the same. But you look at it here, you got 50 there, 40 there, that's 90. We'll take the lower price, say you got like 22, 25 here between the listings and the market price. So you got another $50 there. So you're looking at 140 just for these 3 cards, and then you got all this other stuff. You can definitely make that 180 value back. So it's maybe not too bad to potentially buy those binders. Next thing we're going to talk about is Skull Knight promo. We got Bagra Army stuff. announced for BT or for EX10, and we're seeing a spike in this. And promo cards always see spikes when they get new support. You're seeing it jump up from about $15 to $25, $26 is the last sale. And promo cards are always fun because they're harder to get than any other card. So that kind of, you could potentially see this guy here. There's not many listings. He could go up over $30 depending on any other Bogger support that we get announced for EX10. So you got to watch out for that as well. We also have Shadramon, another promo card that's actually finally starting to cool off. It was up around $80. If you're still interested in playing Virus Imperial, it's still a really great deck. Both the event pack foil and the anniversary survey pack promo are selling at around $25 to $28. You can probably get them for $25. Maybe you might get it for less. So it's not a bad time to actually pick those up. Now we're going to get this event pack till the end of the year, so you could potentially wait and see. We could get it under $20, maybe under around $15. But honestly, if you really want to play Virus Imperial, $25 is not a bad price to pay for the foil version of this, especially because you need 4 of it in the deck, and it is kind of one of the heart and soul cards of the deck. Moving right along, we have the Battle Volume 2 Regulation Pack. Bastimon, really, again, not doing that great, $6 to $7. You got Shumon at $2. I would have expected that to be a little bit higher because this is actually one of the best Liberator Searchers, honestly, for that deck. It's so versatile, so it's just kind of crazy. And then we have as well, we have the Biomon's not really worth anything, but the Etamon from the Volume 1, the winner card, is actually worth a little bit, so that's actually kind of cool. 15 to $20. It's a good card. It's good in a lot of decks, so it was a good choice. Whereas like these two, not necessarily so much. Another card that is trending downwards, Kaguyamon here, is definitely trending downwards in price. We're seeing it, come under $20 when it started. It was around $40 when EX9 released, going down to about $30 around release, and now we're seeing it hit another low point here. I think this is one of the best cards in the deck, and if the deck starts topping more, this card will go up in price. So right now I think is a good time to buy this, because you run 3 to 4 of this in the deck. Even with the new support, it is very versatile and very really the core focus of the deck revolves around this right now. So I would say that it definitely is a good time to buy this, because we're going to get some Gen Con events, we're going to get some potentially new regionals, and if this got it got a top before EX9 finished its round, if it were to see more tops, I definitely think that we're going to see price increases on this card and other cards in the deck. Alphamon Oryukin, we're looking at this one, the Ace version, because people are playing this in the Alphamon deck, the CS deck sometimes, because they want to play that this and the Oryumon. Which is not necessarily the best way to play the deck, but it is an interesting way, and we thought we'd look at how this is trending down. It's actually trending downwards, but it is actually a pretty good card. I know most recent sale $25. I would say that this is actually a pretty good card in a lot of different decks. $25 is not the worst price to pay for this. It's not a bad place to start. You could wait a little bit longer to see if it drops down to $20, but depending on where the meta goes, this could see an increase, definitely. A lot of these Ace cards, they kind of go with the flow of things, and it could see an easy increase in the future. Lucemon stuff, we got Lucemon stuff announced, so we're just kind of taking a look at the prices here. At the top here we have our EX6 stuff. Not as expensive as it used to be, but still pretty pricey. This was 46, used to be 62, and this was 20, 22, 25, used to be 32. So it's still pretty pricey. It's gone down a little bit. Lucemon alt art here is still around $30, so that's pretty expensive. 20 for the X Antibody alt, and then another 15, 16 for the BT18 Lucemon alt. Everything else is pretty cheap. The other Chaos mode from BT8 and Satan mode are actually pretty cheap, but we could see some of these prices explode depending if there's any more Lucemon support cards. I haven't seen the ones from EX10. They don't look amazing, so I don't know if we're going to see too much hype around things like Satan mode or this guy, but I definitely think these ones will continue to be pricey cards. We also have the Ultimate Cup stuff here. We have the Shoutmon, the participation card, the X4 as your top 16. X4 still being priced really less than the participation. The Shoutmon's more popular at 25 to 32. We pay $28 for it, but with the disparity between 17 and 32, you're probably paying closer to like 20, 22 for this. So I would say that this is definitely the worst of the two cards, even though it's a top 16 card. And then you have 350 for the winner pack card. Limited copies, right? You only get one per Ultimate Cup, and there's only 2 online Ultimate Cups, and you only get 3 per side event cup. So there's that. And then, of course, Bulkmon and Pulsemon and BBmon, they were from the regionals pack, but they were the different ones. You got that for participation, so it's really cheap. You get that for finalists, which is 15 to 30 is not too bad if you can get it for around 15. But this card doesn't really see play, so I wouldn't pay more than 15 for it. And then the Bulkmon, of course, being your winner pack or your champion pack one, you get a lot. It's a lot more expensive. Omnimon Ultra S has continued to see a high trend. We see most recent sales $80. Still, up listings around $55, but with prices like that, it's just going to keep climbing. And it's really good that like I said, with the hype for the Nokia and the Omnimon DNA Digivolve deck, this card lets you OTK so easy in the deck that it's just exploded exponentially. And if we look here at its regular super, it used to be, $13, and I'm glad I waited and I didn't pay like $20 for them. I got them for like 13, but I'm glad I got them before this happened, because now they're up around 28, $32. And I did not want to pay that for a super, especially since I only pulled 2 from my 8 boxes. It's really ridiculous. We also got Omnimon Ultra B, which has started to go up. I would say if you have this card in your collection and you don't plan on playing the Omnimon DNA Digivolve, sell this. This is an old EX4 card that was way down here at like $18. Now it's almost doubled its value. I would say right now is the time to sell this with the Omnimon hype. Get it gone. Make some money. All Force BT11, it's been 11 sets since this card came out, and it's still doing well. This is the All Force you want to play for the deck. It's just better than the Ace version we got in BT22. And most recent sale, $25. It's not terrible, but you need 4 of it for the deck. And with things like Rena and the Vidramon promo being just so much higher, this is actually a little bit easier of a pill to swallow, being that it's only $25. And so I would say that this is definitely worth buying. We could see the price go up, but there is lots of copies, so I would say that it'll probably stay for a while around this. It might go down depending on how if this deck tops or not, but we'll have to wait and see. And then lastly, we're looking at Medieval Gallantmon here. Medieval Gallantmon is one of the reasons why you would still buy EX8 boxes. Still very valuable. It's still, the alt has actually come down below $100, but it's still $84 to $90 for the alt, and then 80 to 75 to 80 for the regular. And you have a chance. You have 3 chances to pull this in a box. You get 3 alternates or 2 alts and a secret. So you have a decent chance of potentially getting this. And there's some other really great cards in EX8 too. So I would say that this kind of makes still worth it to buy that box. It is coming down too because of the reprint, the Gold Edition and Rise of Digimon, which we're going to get in between October and December. So that'll continue to drag these prices down slowly, but it is very slow grind. So you'll see $5 at a time, kind of every couple weeks. And but still pretty expensive, and people are learning how to play around this card a lot more and not let it stun them as much as it used to, and just kind of control and lock the board. So I also think that's another reason you're seeing it played less, so you're seeing the prices drop a little bit. But that's it for the market analysis, guys. Tell us what you thought. What do you think about BT22? What did you think about the overall card prices in general of BT22? What do you think about the week 1 and where we kind of left off with everything that happened? Do you think it's worth it to buy that set still? What do you think of these other cards, the hype that we're getting for EX10, some of the prices that have started to go down? Do you think they're going to last, or do you think things are going to change and things are going to spike back up? And what do you think is going to happen with cards that are good for EX10? Are they going to explode like things did for BT22? But it looks like that's all the time we have for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in. We hope to see you in the next video. As always, have a wonderful day. And that is all for now, folks.